What's up everybody, welcome to Nightcast, where you the subscribers send us your scary and or supernatural stories and we read them. So tonight's story is the reason that you probably shouldn't go on your first date with someone that you don't know in the middle of nowhere, or in the middle of a field, or in the woods. Especially if you've only talked to that person before on an online dating app. So a 21-year-old newly hired police officer we'll call Jake matched with a pretty girl on Tinder. She said that she had a great big open field to look at stars and hang out. They set up a date. The night came and Jake picked her up. She guided him to the field. It was a great big open space with woods, deer, and other wildlife. In the field, he noticed really dim headlights in the distance. It was a van, and it started driving towards them. It pulled up in front of them. Jake walked up to the driver's side of the van. It was a decently sized man. Jake asked, "What's going on?" and asked the man if he could back up a bit. The man was very polite and said that he was the owner of the property and that he didn't mean to scare them. He said that he had been having problems with poachers on the property and just wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be shooting at anything. Jake assured him that they only came to look at stars and wildlife. He told Jake to have a nice date and drove away. After that, the girl began texting non-stop. About an hour later, Jake saw headlights coming towards them again, and this time at a very fast pace. They hopped in the truck and Jake moved it to a more defensive position. The same man came close enough to almost hit Jake's truck. Then, all of a sudden, the girl hopped out of Jake's truck and ran towards the man. Jake immediately knew he was screwed. Jake got out of his truck and gave them commands to back up and get on the ground. They didn't comply though, and the man charged Jake, knocking him to the ground. Fortunately, Jake was able to get him on his back and get up. His date then grabbed a metal pipe from the van and said that they had a gun and to give him his money and his truck and he won't get hurt. Jake said no. She started to cry and said that they didn't want to hurt him. The man started walking back towards his van. At this point, Jake told them that he was a cop and he drew his concealed firearm. He instructed them to lay on the ground and they complied after a moment of shock. Jake called 911 and requested for backup, but while on the phone, both of them fled. Jake chased them and took off after the man who ran into the woods. After hearing 3 loud pops and seeing muzzle flashes, Jake ran back to his truck and returned to the location where he picked the girl up from. He contacted dispatch again and told the officers to go to that location. The first officers to show up were Jake's sergeant and field training officer. Jake hopped in their patrol car and they headed towards the field. Jake stayed in the car while the other officers cleared the area and searched the van. They found meth right in the center console. Jake's field training officer and sergeant came back to the patrol car and told Jake to come have a look in the back of the van. They both looked pale and horrified. In the back of the van, there were several knives, duct tape, lighter fluid, rifle ammunition, handcuffs, and what looked to be dried blood. In the front seat passenger side, there was an AR-15 style rifle and 2 handguns. They called for immediate backup and detectives. The plates had been stolen, and the van was reported stolen.
Wow, I mean, that story's actually crazy. You hear a lot about, like, people giving advice to girls, you know, be careful when you're going on online dates. You never know who you're going to meet, but that's probably one of the first times I've heard it go bad for the guy when going on an online date.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's a lot of girls out there that are bad too, you know, that are evil, that are psychopaths, that are meth heads and lack empathy.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what would have happened to this guy, you know, if he didn't have that training. Because it says the guy tackled him, you know, and they scrambled, and thankfully this guy had at least some training to be able to get back up. And, you know, it was a good thing he was a cop, and it was a very good thing that he had his gun, because had he not, this story probably wouldn't have ended the same way.
Yeah, and who knows what their intentions were. I mean, obviously they wanted to harm him or rob him in some way, but he could have gotten murdered, kidnapped, anything really, who knows.
So that's it for tonight, guys. Thanks for all the support on the TikTok. You guys have been blowing us up recently over there. One of our videos just got over 1 million views. I never would have expected that, but make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. We'd like to hear your comments, what you think about the stories. And don't forget to like the video. And if you want, you can head on over to our TikTok and check us out there.
And if you guys have any scary and or supernatural stories that you'd like to send us, you can send them to our email address, nightcasters13@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, and until next time.